Now, Elon Musk himself tweeted about this, and I find it hilarious that a lot of people are shocked by this revelation. A revelation that I have been discussing on my channel for 6 years now. So, first of all, let's listen to the statement from the British Prime Minister, and then we can talk about it.
What the British people are owed is an explanation. Because a failure on this scale isn't just bad luck, it isn't a global trend or taking your eye off the ball. No, this is a different order of failure. This happened by design, not accident. Policies were reformed deliberately to liberalise immigration. Brexit was used for that purpose, to turn Britain into a one-nation experiment in open borders. Global Britain. Remember that slogan? That is what they meant. A policy with no support, and which they then pretended wasn't happening.
Now, his take on the intention of why the Conservatives were supporting Brexit, that they wanted to have open borders and to create an experiment, that is his take as a politician. I don't think he was actually in the Conservatives' heads. I don't think he found any papers or any discoveries to show that this is the case. That is his take. However, the fact that mass immigration has happened in Britain, that is true. And a lot of people are shocked by this. They're shocked by the revelation that the government allowed it, which is a sentiment that I have supported on this channel for years now. And not just for Britain, but for the European Union, for the United States. So how did I come to the similar conclusion that the Prime Minister in Britain is coming to now? And the answer is simple. I'm looking at pattern recognition. I'm looking at what's happening when the government actually wants to stop something. Like if there's far-right riots, what does the government do? Well, you get a crackdown at an unprecedented scale. They start arresting people for posts on social media. They seem to be able to find every single social media post. They seem to have organizations and NGOs like Stop Hate, and they find out where the money is coming from. They're finding out where the funding is coming from. They're immediately able to, in the case of Nigel Farage even, debank people. Not the government itself, but it seems that the government is more than capable of working with private organizations in order to fulfill political aspirations. So when it's something that the government wants stopped, it stops it. I mean, during COVID, during the pandemic, did you see the censorship online? Did you see how effective they were at cracking down any type of discourse? My God, it was to the point when I would go to have my hair done, and I would have conversations with my hairstylist by just asking them questions. It's like, how do you feel about this? How do you feel about that? And anything they would respond was like a TOS violation on social media. Like, they created an alternative reality online that was just like a complete different conversation was happening in real life than you had on the internet. So when the government wants something to be cracked down, it gets cracked down. It's not like, oh, well, the government was trying to crack down on it, but they just don't know. Oh, they're incompetent. They just don't know how to deal with the thing. No, they're very competent. So if something is happening, it's happening because they allow it. And by they, I mean the politicians. Because there is absolutely no way that you can have people coming from third world countries by themselves and making such an arduous journey and end up on the shores of Britain. It's impossible. Like to get me to believe this absurdity would require me to lose a couple of neurons. And yet so many people believed it. Up until the British Prime Minister pointed it out. But like so many people genuinely believe that this was the case. They believed that people from third world countries, like impoverished people, were fleeing poverty. And by some miracle, they were arriving on Britain. The reality is, if the government wanted to crack down on it, they would do exactly the same thing that they do when they crack down on the far right. Find out who are the NGOs that are doing this, where are they getting their money from, make legislation, make laws to punish them, and start cracking down on them. And the fact that they didn't But they're doing it to other things, like they're capable of doing it to the far right. I mean, hell, in Germany, you have like the question of whether or not AfD as a political party should be disbanded. So like it's not like, oh well, human rights violations, oh we can't do that. No, you can. You just don't wanna. And you can because I've seen you doing it to others. Like I don't care the motivation. I get no, but like I have seen it happening, being done to different organizations. So you can. I remember when the AfD wanted to have a conference in Germany, and the entire private sector refused to allow them. So it is possible. Again, I see the government and the private sector working hands in hand in order to accomplish political goals. Of course, that was in Germany. This is Britain. But similar things have happened in Britain as well. Again, the debanking of Nigel Farage is one example. Like, why can't we have the debanking of people that are promoting these NGOs that are getting people from halfway across the world and moving them here? How much money are they making? How profitable is this business? Why aren't they getting arrested? Why aren't their boats being seized? I mean, sure, you got a boat all the way to Britain and you brought a couple of migrants, okay? Seize the boat, right? Like there are so many ways that this can be done legally and solved legally. So I concluded years ago that this is done by design. And now, apparently, what I've concluded is being vetted by the Prime Minister of Britain. Why did it take up until now? I don't know. Probably because he's going really low in the ratings and the approvals. So they're trying to now save face. But take into account that the Conservatives, they also said, yes, it's a problem. Yes, we're going to fix it. And they didn't do anything. Now, a lot of people don't have any faith that Keir Starmer is going to do anything. But at least he's admitting the problem. And if what I said up until now isn't enough to convince people, like apparently my induction, my reasoning isn't ironclad, well, you also have the Prime Minister of Hungary all the way back in 2019 talking about the same thing and saying like, well, there is a plan for immigration, and he put it up to a vote in his country. People rejected this plan. But again, like there were other politicians from other nations that were talking about this. And when this is happening, it doesn't make any sense that it can even happen without the support of the government. So yeah, like the conclusion that this wasn't just allowed, but it was encouraged makes sense. Let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.